the cartoon, actually, which I think says it all. It's in Gulf News. It says, "A black day for football," and there you can see a little soccer ball, crying over the lives that were lost on Wednesday after the match in Port Said. It's also, the story is also being covered on the cover of The Guardian. On the front page, it says, "Egypt mourns the football dead." And inside, there's an interesting analysis piece by Ian Black that says this disorder is a symptom of Egypt's uncertain times. It says that basically security has been the center of the public debate since Hosni Mubarak was overthrown a year ago. And it says that the consequences of what happened on Wednesday are going to play into Egypt's shifting political landscape. And though it's not 100% clear exactly what sparked the violence, whatever the cause of it, it's definitely undermined the reputation of the military-appointed civil government. And to quote, it says that the 74 fatalities at the football match raised issues about the competence, trust, and accountability at the heart of the Egyptian state.
And of course, all these conspiracy theories circulating that, in fact, the army might have done this on purpose to make sure that they hold on to power. Let's move on to another story. The Washington Post yesterday featured a story that's making a lot of noise.
That's right. It was a piece by David Ignatius, who says he wonders, is Israel preparing an attack on Iran? Now, to quote the article, it says that U.S. Defense Secretary Leon Panetta believes that there's a strong likelihood that Israel will strike Iran in April, May, or June. Now, Ignatius does not characterize the source. He's not clear whether it's Panetta himself who said this to him or whether it was his top aides. But one thing is for sure, it's causing quite a buzz in the American media. Now, Panetta added fuel to the fire by not commenting on Ignatius's article, but he didn't shoot it down either. He didn't deny it. So this, this prospect of war in the Middle East has stoked a lot of media attention. It's also become an issue in the Republican presidential campaign, according to an article in Politico. And meanwhile, Israel, is standing by the fact that if sanctions against Iran don't work, it will consider military action.
There's a lot of posturing going on in the Middle East then, where we're going to stay for the next story, Syria. Of course, the UN Security Council has been holding meetings to discuss this European Arab draft resolution on Syria. They say they've come up with something that might satisfy the Russians.
Well, that's yet to be seen, but there's an interesting take on this whole, debate that's going on in the UN Security Council. In China Daily, it's interesting to see the Chinese perspective. Of
course, they've been siding with Russia, haven't they?
Absolutely, and here is an interesting cartoon right there. You can see it, where you see this group of Security Council members, assumingly there's not China or Russia there, that are, trying to knock down the front door of Syria. Now, there you can see a little frightened-looking dove there because, of course, the pretext is peace, but they look like they have definitely a hidden agenda there to maybe, rob the country for all it's worth.
Suggesting the Arab League's being a bit heavy-handed. You can clearly see China's stance there. Have we got time to look at the Gulf News piece?
There's an interesting piece in Gulf News. It's actually kind of trying to understand exactly why Russia is systematically blocking any kind of UN resolution with respect to Syria. Now, there's obviously an internal reason that keeps coming up, that Russia is weary of internal opposition in Russia and doesn't want to set a precedent. But there's also an interesting external reason that's addressed in this article in Gulf News, and that's that Russia is defending its interests, notably with respect to Turkey. According to this article, the country that would gain the most if al-Assad's regime were to fall down would be Turkey, and Russia is keen to assert its status as a superpower, and especially with respect to Turkey. Now, there's been this historic animosity between the Ottoman Empire and Russia, and it seems like this is still, the case today. Russia is keen to make sure that Turkey doesn't get too much influence in the region.
And doesn't want to be forgotten on the world stage. Now, we've just got time for the Oscar buzz around Jean Dujardin, the French actor, of course, who's in The Artist, a movie that's being released here in France, could jeopardise his hopes.
Yes.
Is that the one I've been seeing all the posters about?
Well, you've been seeing the posters, but the posters are going to be taken down. Now, Jean Dujardin, he's up for an Oscar. He could be the first Frenchman to win an Oscar for acting, but he's in a film here called Les Infidèles, the Players, which is about male adultery. And there you see the poster with Jean Dujardin.
Very suggestive. I can vouch for that. Yeah.
They've been all over Paris, but there've been a lot of complaints. People say that it's an attack on the dignity of women. So the posters are getting taken down, and Jean Dujardin's fans are worried that he could shock the American audience, and it could jeopardize his chance for an Oscar.
Oh, maybe he should have thought about that before he agreed to do the film. Thanks very much, Florence Villeminot, bringing us there all the latest from the